Welcome into Chase Center as we get ready for Warriors basketball here on a Saturday. Mark Randy with you on Warriors Live on 95.7 The Game. As always, Warriors Live is presented by Xfinity. Stream sports from the best seat in the house with Xfinity. Bring on the good stuff. Well, the Warriors back home tonight after they were in L.A. taking on the Clippers last night. The Warriors lost that game 102-92. Now they're home here for the back end of a back-to-back against Kevin Durant and the Phoenix Suns. A couple of big injuries to run through. We'll get to that in just a second. But interesting that these two teams are facing each other at this moment because both teams, after awesome starts this year, have really struggled of late, and they both come into this game, I think, as a potential turning point. The Warriors, 15-15. The Suns, 15-15. One of these two teams will leave tonight below 500, and the Golden State Warriors, of course, hoping it is not them. How about this for these two squads? The Warriors began the season 12-3. Since then, they're 3-12. As good as they started, they've been that bad here over the last 15 games. Meanwhile, the Suns, they started 9-2. They're 6-13 since. Some of it for the Suns has been injury-related, and I could say the same thing for the Warriors. But when Kevin Durant went down for Phoenix, they lost like 6 games in a row the second that he went down, and they've kind of just been hovering around 500 ever since then. The Warriors have been in a bit of a free fall over the last few weeks. It goes back to the D'Anthony Melton injury earlier. Of course, you had Stephen Curry in and out of the lineup. You have Draymond Green in and out. Draymond and Steph did not play last night in the loss down in L.A. But it doesn't matter how you got there. The reality is both these teams are there right now, sitting at 15-15. The Warriors were 12-3. Now they're already back to 500. And it's not even the new year just yet. The Suns started 9-2. They're 6-13 since then. We will see which team is able to get a win tonight and avoid falling below 500 after both these two teams were off to really good starts. To put the starts and what has happened since in perspective, and this is specifically the Warriors start, how about this? No NBA team in history has started a season 12-3 or better over 15 games, 12 wins or more over the course of the first 15 games of a season, and proceeded to finish the same season at 500 or worse. And the Warriors right now, again, after a 12-3 beginning, are already back to 500 just through 30 games at 15-15. To go even further, only one team in NBA history, after beginning the season 12-3 or better, have not even made the playoffs, and that happened a long, long time ago. So for the Golden State Warriors, you still have plenty of time. You've played 30 games. You have 52 games left. Of course, you have so much time to get this going in the right direction again, but this feels like a little bit of a turning point for the Golden State Warriors. You're 15-15. Now you return home. You got a 6-game homestand beginning tonight. Phoenix and Cleveland and Philadelphia and Memphis, Sacramento and Miami. Some really tough games in there. Tonight, despite the record, Phoenix is going to be a tough one. Cleveland, maybe the best team in the NBA. That's going to be really tough. Philadelphia is playing better basketball now, but they're still kind of an uneven team. Memphis, as we just found out a little bit ago in Memphis, they're a really good basketball team. The Sacramento Kings, they're one of the few teams that have more bad things going on around them than the Warriors do at the moment. And then Miami, who, no one's going to mistake them for one of the best teams in the league, but they still got some talent on their squad as well. So this is a turning point for the Warriors, and you can say the same thing for the Suns, but specifically for the Warriors, and it all begins tonight as they hope to avoid falling below 500. The Warriors currently 15-15. The Suns 15-15 as well. Okay, let's get going here on Warriors Live with our injury report, which, as always, is brought to you by Boxer & Gerson, Northern California's premier workers' compensation law firm, helping injured workers get their lives back for over 40 years. For more information, visit boxerlaw.com. For the Warriors, Gary Payton II remains out with a left calf strain. He hurt that calf on Christmas Day against the Lakers. Did not play last night in L.A., is out again tonight. Will be reevaluated probably midweek next week. So I would imagine he's not going to play Monday against Cleveland. Thursday, I would not expect him to play either. We may get an update on GP2 before that Thursday game against Philadelphia, but I would expect him to miss tonight and probably the next two games as well. We will see beyond that for GP2. So he's out tonight. Also, Moses Moody is out tonight. He was questionable, but Steve Kerr speaking pregame about 45 minutes ago saying that Moses Moody is out. He's listed with left knee injury management. And this is a little bit concerning, at least for me, because this has been a knee issue that has been bothering him for a while now. He played last night in LA, but missed 5 of the previous 6 games and only played 10 minutes in the one game that he did play in. So it's consistently been either not playing, or when he plays, he then misses the next game for Moses Moody. So keep an eye on Moody. He is out tonight along with GP2. Meanwhile, Draymond Green, a game-time decision. Steve Kerr, again, about 45 minutes ago, speaking pregame, saying that Draymond Green, who's been dealing with a low back contusion, will warm up pregame. Then they'll see how the back feels and responds. Then they'll make a decision. I got a little bit of breaking news for you here on Warriors Live. Just in seconds ago, Draymond Green is available for the Warriors tonight against the Suns. So Draymond Green will play tonight. Steve Kerr did say postgame last night he expects Draymond, who did not play last night in LA, and Steph, who also did not play last night, to both be available tonight. Steph Curry is off the injury report entirely. Draymond had been listed as questionable, a true game-time decision. He is available and ready to go for the Warriors tonight. So Draymond and Stephen Curry back. GP2 and Moses Moody out for the Warriors tonight. Relatively straightforward injury report for the Suns, although it does feature some big names. Devin Booker is out with a left groin strain. He's missed the last 4 games. Phoenix is 1-3 in those 4 without him. Jusuf Nurkic is also out. I'm not sure how many of you watched the Mavericks-Suns game last night, but there was a little bit of a scuffle. It included a Jusuf Nurkic slap, and he has been suspended for 3 games. So Nurkic out tonight. He's not available for the Suns against the Warriors. Grayson Allen for the Suns also out. He's in concussion protocol. He's missed the last 3 games for the Phoenix Suns. So Devin Booker, Jusuf Nurkic, and Grayson Allen all out tonight for the Suns against the Warriors, who will have Draymond, who will have Stephen Curry, but will be without Gary Payton and Moses Moody. Okay, so the Warriors coming off of a loss. They've lost 3 games in a row. They've lost 6 of their last 7. They're 3-12 in their last 15. Despite last night's loss, 102-92 in LA against the Clippers without Steph and without Draymond Green, the Warriors did have some positives come out of last night, and we'll get into that here as we continue on Warriors Live on 95.7 The Game, which is presented by Xfinity. At home or on the go, you'll get the fastest internet to all of your devices. Let's hear from Steve Kerr, because the Warriors were down 20 in the second half, and then they got back into the game late in the fourth quarter, ultimately could not close it out. But here's Steve Kerr postgame last night discussing the fourth quarter comeback and what led to it. Here's Coach Kerr. Yeah, that was an incredible fourth quarter performance for the Warriors. It kind of petered out down the stretch of that fourth quarter. The Warriors couldn't quite close it out, but they erased a 20-point deficit seemingly in the blink of an eye, and a lot of it was from Jonathan Kuminga. He recorded his first double-double of the season with a game-high and career-high 34 points. He was 11 of 19 from the field, 11 of 14 from the free throw line. Also a season-high and team-high 10 rebounds off the bench. It was a new career-high in free throws made and attempted. And how about this? 34 points for Kuminga last night off the bench, tied for the second most points off the bench by anybody in the NBA this season. The last time a Warriors reserve scored that many points was Klay Thompson last year when he scored 35 in Utah. That was February in Utah. You remember that was the first game that Klay came off the bench since like his rookie season, and there was all the big hubbub about it because how would Klay react to coming off the bench? That was the last time a Warriors reserve scored as many points or more than as Jonathan Kuminga did last night. It was a great Kuminga performance, 34 points. He was the Warriors' entire offense. I mean, he scored 92 points. He scored more than a third of the Warriors' points. He led the team in rebounds. He tied for the team lead in assists. He did everything last night. But one thing that is becoming a discussion point for Jonathan Kuminga and the Golden State Warriors is, can Jonathan Kuminga do that on a consistent basis while Stephen Curry and Draymond Green are on the floor? Because last night, a career game for Jonathan Kuminga, okay, and that's fantastic. You love to see that if you're Steve Kerr and the Golden State Warriors. But it happened without Stephen Curry and without Draymond Green on the court. You remember Jonathan Kuminga's previous career high in points? It was 33 points. He did that early December and a win at home against Houston. Do you remember who happened to not play in that basketball game? It was Steph Curry and Draymond Green. So the only two games that both Steph and Draymond have not played this year, Jonathan Kuminga has set career highs in points in both of them. 33 points without Steph, without Draymond. 34 points without Steph, without Draymond. Now, Kuminga obviously has had some pretty good games as well when those two have been in. Think back to the Indiana loss last week when he scored 26 points, had 8 rebounds, 4 assists. Clearly a very good basketball game. But it seems to me that Jonathan Kuminga is more consistently having good performances. And it's not just about points, right? It's about aggressiveness. And it's about making good decisions. And it seems, for whatever the reason, that Jonathan Kuminga is playing at his best when Stephen Curry and Draymond Green are not out there. Or at least one of them, maybe both. Maybe it's not Steph, maybe it's Draymond, whatever the case is. So the Warriors, the next step for Jonathan Kuminga and the Warriors is to figure out how to unlock that Jonathan Kuminga when Stephen Curry and or Draymond Green are on the court, because it feels like the Warriors' offense entirely shifts, and it revolves around Steph and Draymond as it should, right? I mean, those are two guys that have been the key cogs in 4 championships and some of the best offenses in NBA history. And of course, when Stephen Curry's on the floor, you're going to build the plan of attack around him. But the Warriors need to find a way to maybe shift things just a little bit so Kuminga feels a little bit more involved and comfortable when Stephen Curry and Draymond Green are out there, or they just got to hope that Kuminga's able to figure it out, because it feels like when Stephen Curry and Draymond Green are playing, you're not getting the most out of Jonathan Kuminga, and you're not efficiently utilizing his skill sets. And you're wasting some of what he can provide for you. And Steve Kerr talked about it pregame earlier, just about an hour ago, here at Chase Center. I'm paraphrasing exactly what he said, but when he was asked the question, he kind of posed the question himself. Can he do that consistently? And can he do it while Steph and Draymond are on the floor? He answered his question by saying, I know that he can. Now, Steve Kerr isn't going to, answer that question by saying, no, he can't. He's X player while Stephen Curry and Draymond Green aren't on the court, and he's Y player while they are. But there does seem to be some confidence that the Warriors can figure it out. And not that you're going to get 34 points, 10 rebounds every night from Jonathan Kuminga while Steph and Draymond are playing, but that you can get consistently a better performance from Kuminga while those two are out there. Because so much of what made Kuminga effective last night, it obviously the scoring is nice, and getting to the rim and getting to the free throw line and making the free throws is all very important. But it's more so the mindset, and it's the aggressiveness. One play that Steve Kerr pointed to that kind of shows just how locked in he was last night, and it was one of the highlights of the game. It was in the first half. Brandon Podziemski dribbling around the left wing, kind of a drive, and he kind of cuts off his drive short to whip a cross-court pass to Jonathan Kuminga on the right wing. And when I first saw Podziemski attempt that pass, I thought it was going to be picked off and it was going to be a turnover and the Clippers were going to get a bucket the other way. But instead, Jonathan Kuminga, seeing the pass coming to him, doesn't just kind of wait for the ball to get to him along the perimeter. He sprints at the ball. One, it helps you get to the ball quicker and, minimizes the amount of time a defender has to deflect the pass. But two, when you catch the ball in motion like that, it's so much more difficult for an opponent to get in front of you and to stop your drive. So Kuminga, already racing forward towards the ball, then catches it in motion and has an easy layup. And Steve Kerr pointed to that like 4 different times pregame tonight as an example of what they need Jonathan Kuminga to do more often when Stephen Curry and when Draymond Green are on the court. It's as much about his off-ball movement and his sprint speed and just always being in motion and cutting at the right time with your head up, knowing where the ball is and where you're supposed to be on the court. As it is he, actively getting to the rim when the ball is in his hands? When it's Stephen Curry on the court, the center of the offense, it's so much more about what Kuminga is able to do off the ball. And that was an example of where you got to see more of that from Jonathan Kuminga while Steph is on the court. So look for that tonight. How does the Kuminga experience work in the flow of the Stephen Curry, Draymond Green centric offense? And if the Warriors can get last night's Kuminga kind of transplanted into games where Stephen Curry and Draymond Green are playing, this Warrior team is going to take on a little bit of a different shape. But you haven't been able to get that just yet. I think there's a lot of people, rightly so, worrying if you're ever going to be able to get that. Maybe Kuminga's skill set just simply does not work with the motion offense and the read and react way that the Warriors play offense. Maybe Kuminga just simply needs the ball in his hands more and can't, wrap his game to fit a different style. And if that's the case, then maybe the Warriors need to think about other plans. But for the time being, they seem set on trying to make Kuminga work within the construct of this Stephen Curry motion offense. So we'll see how that goes tonight. That is a big part of this basketball game tonight, and I'm sure we'll talk about it in a few hours coming up on Warriors Wrap-Up when I'm back with you to break down this basketball game. So keep an eye on that. That's one of the biggest things that I'm watching for tonight in this one. Let's keep it going here on Warriors Live on 95.7 The Game. Let's get to our Take It to the Bank prediction, which, as always, is brought to you by Fremont Bank, full-service banking with no compromises. I'll take Stephen Curry's over on points. I saw it listed as low as 23.5 tonight. That seems a little bit low for me, so I'll go over. I know he has had some low-scoring games of late, but this number, again, it feels pretty low. He's blown past that number in 2 of the last 3 games that he's played. 31 in Minnesota in that win where he just made 3 after 3 after 3 down the stretch, and then 38 at home against the Lakers on Christmas in that loss. And now with the Warriors sitting at 500, they're 15-15 after a 12-3 start. They have 6 straight games at home starting tonight. This feels like a huge stretch of the season. And I think Steph takes it upon himself to try to get it done tonight and get this stretch, this homestand off on the right foot. So I'll go over Stephen Curry, 23.5 points tonight. He did not play in the back-to-back. He did not play last night, so he should be fresh. One of the fresher players out there for the Golden State Warriors. We'll see how he does look. And he's off the injury report entirely, which is good news for the Warriors as well. By the way, the Suns also played last night. They lost to the Mavericks, 98-89. That was the game in which Jusuf Nurkic slapped a Maverick and got suspended. So he is out, but the Suns, much like the Warriors, are coming off of a back-to-back. But important to note that Kevin Durant, Bradley Beal, a lot of these key guys for the Phoenix Suns, they all played last night. Stephen Curry and Draymond Green did not. And they are in action for the Warriors tonight in this one. As we went through on the injury report, both Stephen Curry and Draymond Green will play for the Warriors tonight. So again, Stephen Curry over 23.5 points tonight. That is my Take It to the Bank prediction, which is brought to you by Fremont Bank Full Service Banking with no compromises. One other thing to keep an eye on, and it's something that I've been checking in on every once in a while this year as it relates to the Warriors, it is the home record. The Warriors are 7-7 at home so far this